How about get out of my screen? No, not really.
Well, at least you're recording, so we won't know until you're getting a lot of trees right now. So whenever stuff like that shows up, like I'll take a screenshot to make sure it's not a tree or a sign or anything like that, because it will pick up all those things. Also, I want you to keep in mind, you do not point your camera at Henry, because his camera can see your light and it looks like a bunch of flashing lights.
Okay.
So I'll tell him to not to point directly at you, so that way you guys can just not point at each other. Okay, Henry.
My trees are glowing.
Hmm?
The trees are glowing.
Oh.
Oh, I think that's the street light. Cammy Sue, if this guy would move out of my way, it was looking like a person was sitting on the ledge. Like it almost looked like a head and arms and like a body, but not anymore.
I don't know. I'm freezing.
Now they're in my way. What did they do? That's a high.
34.5.
In my
He
thing.
said that the other one was 20, the highest was 28.
Wow.
Heard day, nights, and 395.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you want to tell him?
I don't know, right?
Day, night, and 395. Huh. I keep seeing like a little thing over here up on the same spot in this wall.
Oh.
Yep, always. All right, what do we got coming out of yours?
I've heard day, nights, and 395.
What was the first thing you said?
Day.
Day. And then 395.
Yeah.
And you're getting the gist of yours too. Good. Anything crazy coming up on yours?
Not really. Over here, sometimes there'll be like, if it's in front of those two shed things, there'll be like something that looks like a person sitting on the wall.
Hmm.
And
That's kinda
it was a
cool.
little over here too, but
I just seen something pop up over there too.
yeah. It's
That's
like
weird
here
because
and
there
there.
wouldn't be anything over there because there's no trees or any branches to kind of determine that. So what I do with that, again, I take a screenshot and light it. 96?
Yes.
We're getting a little dangerous. All right, with the 96, I'm going to rein it in. Come on in, everybody.
Does that mean I pause this?
Yeah, let's go ahead and pause it right now at the next spot. Well, we're gonna have to go single file.
Single file. Single file.
All right, what have we heard? What have you seen? What do we got going on? Nothing on yours. Holly?
Rain, Thursday, family, and pedal.
Pedal. That's weird.
I think financial.
Does the word expert mean anything?
And talking about me.
Cameron, you heard financial.
I don't know yet. So I'm gonna dive in and see if there's like 15 stories along this corner, so you guys are gonna hear weird terms. That's why the word pedal, like I don't know what that means yet. But that's definitely a weird thing to hear on the radio. Anybody else hear anything?
I could tell there's expert or expat, and then somebody just said, oh.
Oh, maybe that's because I'm from Ohio. What words do you have going on here?
Wind, watt, and parade. Parade.
Wait a minute, didn't we just pass a pedicab, like a bike taxi?
If you're asking me, I don't know. My
Anybody,
eyes closed.
I saw a bike taxi go by as we were exiting the alley, so you guys may have missed it. So that might be the word where pedal's coming from,
I
I guess.
put pedal or pedal, like I didn't know if it was a flower or bike.
or it could also be like pedaling on the street.
That's
yeah.
true. Yeah.
So again, English major. I come up with the extra terms. Anybody else hear anything? What's going on with the Ouija board over there?
Couldn't find anything.
What are the last 5 letters you have on there?
I just reset it.
Oh, so it's 0.
Yeah.
Got it.
J, G.
GG. Yeah, I got nothing on that one.
We just gotta,
Orange, so you had. That's interesting back here because I don't expect a lot of EMF at this location. That's good. So, 10, 15. All right, perfect. So, welcome to another parking lot, but we're going to be discussing that little tiny building over there. By the way, the 1-star reviews that I get have people complaining that I took them to parking lots. I can't have 12 people investigating in a space like an alley. We're all going to be running into each other. You guys get the point of why I'm bringing you to spaces like this, right? Perfect, got it. So I'll answer for you on some of these things. It's okay. But anyway, we're going to be discussing that little tiny building over there with crosses on it. First off, those are not crosses. Those are earthquake bolts. If you're not from here and you don't know what those are, they're basically turnbuckles. So if we have another earthquake, like what we did in 1886 that I mentioned at the very top of the tour, you can turn the turnbuckles and it tightens the building up so that way it doesn't incur any further damage. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. So the reason I bring these ones up specifically is because it's part of the reason why we're here. Those are the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in. Why? Because that's the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. This building is a familiar building to Anne Bonny because this was about the time that she was coming to America to start a new life. So I call this a familiar. So for those of you that watch the TV shows and movies, you've seen them use a teddy bear to try to attract a child ghost because it's something familiar to them. This is the exact same principle. We don't have many buildings this old. We do have some, but not many, which is why we're here. The hope is that we're going to find clues about Anne Bonny, and she's here at the same time we are. So let's get into her crazy story. The building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government? Small building, 10 years? No, not at all. I told you I'd be answering for you. By the way, I had a CIA agent on my tour one night, and man, was I pissing him off with my government jokes. So he was not happy at all. He's like, I want to let you know, I work for the CIA. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? So anyway, back to the building. Our story begins right in the middle of its construction. So I told you it was finished in 1713. Our story begins in 1708. Let's go back to Ireland. You got to follow me on this one. There's a lot of twists. A young lady moves here by the name of Anne Cormack. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Are you guys with me so far? Okay, head nods, good. So the three of them are running away from her father's angry wife. How pissed off was she that you had to leave Ireland by boat to come here when there's no such thing as airplanes? Yeah, so if you came here with your lady friend and your wife, treat her right. She's going to kick you out of the country. Anyway, back to Anne. They land in Georgetown. That's between us and Myrtle Beach. Dad bought a plantation. Mom died pretty quickly. That means he's sending young Anne down here to sell things from the plantation to keep things afloat, hence the familiar building. So, back home in Ireland, Anne was said to be a badass even back then. So at the age of 7, 8, 9 years old, remember this is pirate lore, nothing is ever going to be perfectly exact, they say she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. So I just want to give you the mentality of this young lady as we go through her history. So, fast forward, the building's done in 13, by 1715, pirates are coming through town. Anne is stoked. Why? She's going to fall in love so she can earn her freedom, just like a man. It's a man's world at this point. Now, got another phrase that came out of there too. Getting some cool stuff, I hope. But anyway, so the first guy she falls in love with, I said first because there's a handful, and we're going to go through them all. The first guy is James Bonny. You already see where this one's going because we've already mentioned her pirate name. So, Dad didn't approve. He was a filthy pirate. They run away to Jamaica. They get married. So now Anne Cormack is now Anne Bonny. That's where the pirate name came from. However, James Bonny is not Captain Jack Sparrow like what she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer. He's a spy for the British. This is not who she wants. He's a coward. So she falls in love again. Guy number 2. This is John Rackham, a.k.a. Calico Jack. This is the guy that they based your Johnny Depp character off of, just so you guys know who we're talking about here. Jack has his own crew and his own ship. Anne wants to be part of the crew. You can't put a girl on a pirate ship. Does anybody know why? Think family friendly, Nick. I see the grins. It's bad luck. So that's just a question to make sure everybody's paying attention. So he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and look like the crew, you can be part of the crew. But you're going to be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this. Why? Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy back home as an apprentice to hide her from his wife. So she gets it. She's a pirate. Let's go. but she's a female in Jack's quarters. Let's put 2 and 2 together. We're all adults here. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl. So Jack drops her off before she starts the show in Cuba. These are friends of mine. Have the baby, come back later, and we'll figure it out. She goes and has the baby, but returns without a child. We have no idea what happened to this baby, by the way. None of my research has ever found it, and that's a lot of research on this. So, irony is she comes back dressed like a girl. This makes Jack pretty mad. So there's another pirate crew that he captured down below deck, and she's going to go flirting with that pirate crew to make him even more mad, because that's who Anne is, guy number 3. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack captured. So now we have 2 females dressed like males on the same ship. Her name was Mary Reed, and she went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. So, again, that's where the name Mark came from. So
3.6.
3.6, that's odd for back here. I'm going to explain that one in a minute. So anyways, back to Mary and Anne. They became friends, lovers. We're never going to really know for sure, but the British found out where they are. They sent a fleet of ships to come take them out. 1 pirate ship, by the way. The rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with 1 bullet flintlocks. Obviously, they're not going to take on a whole fleet of ships. They don't know how to use cannon ships. They haven't been pirates for very long. So they get arrested. As they're being arrested, she looks at her beau, Calico Jack, and she says, "Jack, I'm sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't have to be hanged like a dog." The word dog shows up here a lot, just so you know. The judge wants to see the 2 men that fought back so valiantly on their own. He's already tried to hung Calico Jack and the drunk pirates that wouldn't fight. Anne and Mary go in front and reveal their gender, hoping to save themselves. He doesn't give a shit that they're female. He's still going to hang them because they're still pirates. "We plead our bellies," was the last thing they shouted out, because you cannot hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails her out. She comes home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4, because we're going to count Mary. We don't really know. She has 4 kids, dies at the age of 84. Yes, very abrupt ending. We don't know much about her after her pirate career. Mary Reed dies a year later in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. Most books will tell you that it was some kind of fever or something very simple. I'm going to say, let's make it romantic and call it scurvy. Why the hell not? It's pirates. So, there's only 2 things I left out of here on purpose, out of the entire story, because you guys all know how to ask questions by now. SLS is Blackbeard. So, that was his bag, not Mary's. But anyway, the 2 questions I left out are the name of Anne Bonny's parents. So I left those out purposely so you had something to work with. And the name of Calico Jack's ship. You can also ask the city of where Anne Bonny actually lived in Ireland. That will come up from time to time. And her hair color, which is red. So I'm just going to give that one to you. This is not the prominent English woman that we were working with Eliza Pinckney, which, by the way, when you heard the name, well, I think I explained it already, that Charles is right across the street. So I'm going to be looking for those other clues. But again, keep in mind, we may get things relative to the doctor. We also have John Calhoun, your 7th vice president, is buried right on the other side of this wall as well. So sometimes in the month of March, we're obviously past March, but he will come about when the month of March comes, is here, because he was born and died in the month of March.
I
So,
just heard 1,000.
I'll write it down just in case something else pops up, like somebody else hears a specific number, like 715 or, so if you have like the 1,000 and we get like
Just
a 7.
1,000.
Yeah, but if they get something else, that would be the year. So if somebody hears like 713, we have the year of the powder magazine being completed. So 1,713. Again, kind of a vague stretch, but that's how this goes. EMF detection. Don't get excited on the front half of this space, because we have 2 electrical poles and parking meters on the other side. So that 3.6 that you got back here, I'm excited about that.
Okay, good.
So again, I don't normally get spikes at all in this location. We will get little tiny guys like that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see what happens with this. So Nick, definitely play with yours and see what we get. Keep mindful of the other tourists passing through, because they do like to cut through this lot. But we're gonna spread out, and I'm gonna be bouncing around with you guys and see what you guys find. So let's do this.
Okay.
Let's see what you guys can get. Do you have like a 10 or 15 come out of that already? Any other words show up that I need to know about?
Let's see here.
What about,
Kim Sue, I see a person-looking thing. Do you see that? Doesn't it look like a head with the body? Wait, is it gone?
did you find something?
Sort of.
Oh,
That's a person like
Yeah,
here, but like
I
over
saw
there, it kind
that.
of looked like a person.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah. But now they're over there. So,
oh,
so now it's them. But
yeah, weird.
yeah. No, wait, am I ghost looking? Is that my shadow? Or it is?
We got one more space.
How is Betty?
I see you. That was cool though. All those people had to walk. You saw it, right? Yeah. It was cool. But then all those people had to walk in from.
Oh, well.
It's all the thing.
Yeah. For years. Like, I'm not talking like 6 months. I'm talking like 6 years. Anything coming out of that thing?
Yeah. Over there, before they walked over, there was like a person-looking thing standing like over there.
By the bushes or by the wall?
Kind of like like if you took the line that is by the bushes out to the edge of that line for the thing.
Interesting.
And it was just like standing there.
Okay. Usually if you have a figure and you're trying to figure out if it's a legitimate spirit or not, ask them to do something. Raise your right hand.
Okay.
You know,
Do I
move
say that out loud or like in my head? Okay.
Yeah, definitely out loud when you see something. Like, hey, I can see you. Can you move your hand or wave at me? You know,
Okay.
and maybe wave back just to kind of give them a demonstration.
Okay.
So I do it all the time whenever we capture something with that, just to make sure like what we have is legit. And sometimes we get a reaction. Like,
Alright.
it's creepy, but it's cool. That's why you're here.
Okay.
So anything coming out of yours? So have you given her an earbud so she can help you out?
Not yet.
Give her an earbud.
All right.
Work on it together.
I haven't used this one,
All right, Marie,
so.
what do you got coming out of yours?
Oh, that's loud.
I know.
That's obnoxious.
We get a lot of religious stuff here. Still not ready.
What are we supposed to ask it?
I don't know.
Trying to remember the question. Oh, wait, there were words, but I didn't hear them.
$287.
I heard 285, but I don't know.
I'm gonna switch ears up here.
Ooh. Do you hear maintenance?
Mm-hmm.
Did we tell him?
I don't know.
I'll just write it down, I guess.
Yes. So what number are we gonna agree on?
We'll write down both, and maybe one of them means something.
Okay.
What was it, 285 or 286?
Yeah.
Or 287?
Yeah, 287 or 285.
That's perfect. What was the name of the ship?
I heard 95.
I kind of did too.
Should we move a bit?
What?
Should we try and walk a little bit, see if we find anything?
Sure. And I hear her asking, what was the name of your ship? So I think we should try that. What was the name of your ship? I feel silly.
Yeah. Where's your mom?
Oh, all of it. That's why I'm on it.
Where's Holly? Holly, what do you got?
Wait. I saw something. Not her. Over here. What was the name of your ship? What?
Okay, go closer to the
Oh, look. Wait,
I was there again.
it was looking like a person for a second.
Was it? Walk over there.
I see kind of a stick figure.
Yes, you do.
That's cool.
We have a person.
He said, raise your right hand.
So what you're picking up, just so you know, I'm
Uh-huh.
going to use my pen here. So you have trees
Yeah.
up there. So you see all the multiple points? It's trying to make a figure out of it, but you're really picking up the tree branches.
Gotcha.
It's a
that-
depth perception camera.
Oh.
So she was right to do what she was doing.
We got all excited.
Yeah. But again, it's a depth perception. So anytime there's like a, obviously something in front of something else,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to try to pick it up and turn it into a person for you.
Oh my
Why is she
So
Yeah, that
It's
really
looking
was
for-
a person.
it's looking for points to find a person. So when it has a relative thing like tree branches, it's going to try to, and we do get a lot of jumbled, but I look for the multiple points. If it's an actual spirit, it's going to have just a box torso, the knees are going to be there, and the feet will be there, elbows and hands, and the lines will be in between all of those. Maybe a line for the neck. You get the point.
Yeah.
And normally for an actual person, when it goes up, it's not going to give you like a full circle for a head. It's going to give you 3 points, 1 for the nose and then 2 for the eyes. They're going to look very close together.
Okay.
So that's normally what I find when we actually have something legit. So again, lots of studying, and this camera being new and only having it for 6 weeks, like there's a lot to learn. I've been playing with the sensitivity, so it doesn't do that all the time, but that one's too obvious for me to see, like, hey, you're getting tree branches. All right, guys. What do you got?
We should probably tell him what we heard.
What?
We should probably tell him what we heard.
Yeah, did we hear anything else while he was talking?
I don't think so.
All right.
Picking up the same exact frequency at the same time, and it's just talking like an ad about like.
It sounded like an ad. It said check for infection.
Yeah, and that's okay. That's what you're looking for. So let's rein it in. We got a lot going on with
Here.
the jacket.
Let's take it out.
Rain? Somebody else heard rain.
Oh, and I heard number 1 earlier.
Number 1. We had
Like
number
the
1 earlier.
word number and then wrong.
Yeah. All right, let's go over to the wall. Yeah.
It was a lot came through real quick over there, so I just showed a couple of words.
Okay, we got
Street, hard day's work, doctor, threatening, and 753.
753 and doctor are obviously relevant to where we just were. So I told you we get bleed over. The word street would only be relevant if there was another word that comes about, and that word is church, because we're on Church Street, and that is the exact address where the doctor lived. He lived on Church Street. I'll be writing those down once I go through the history, so kind of hang on to those for me.
Yeah. And 82.
82. Oh, that's actually the year that Anne Bonny died, 1782. She was 84 and she was born in 1698. So look at you getting stuff.
Cameron and I heard it got kind of muffly at the end of it, but we heard 280 and then it was either 5 or 7. And then we heard maintenance, 95 and number.
Somebody else heard number 1 too, so it's number 1 as well. That's what I should be saying instead of number 1 too. Nothing super relevant or sticking out to me on that one, but kudos to you for using your phones.
Yes.
So we actually had some EMF in this location, which is odd for the space. So Sandy actually had up to like a 10 to 15. It came out of hers, and you also got a 16 in the front half of this, which is even high for what I would expect out of the parking meters and the electrical pole. I would only expect like a 7, 9, maybe a 10, not a 16. So again, that's pretty high for this space. Let's go through the answers, and it will make sense, and I'll explain like who got what when these things actually pop about. So I will tell you that this is one of the few pictures of Anne Bonny you can find with where she has a shirt on. The reason why is because she used to bare her breast to show men that they were just killed by a woman. So again, I get a lot of teenage boys on this tour, and I don't need angry moms leaving. So, but again, I like to show you at least what she looked like, and of course in her major pirate form. So she is, always played as the voluptuous vixen type character in your movies and TV shows and video games. The names of her parents, nobody got it. William and Mary. Weird thing is it normally comes up as one phrase. So one person will come up to me and say, were their names William and Mary? Because I just heard it come out of a radio station or whatever they heard it from. So William Cormack, Mary Brennan. Mary Brennan was a servant for the Cormack family. That's a whole nother scandal that we're not going to get into. But again, we will get the names when they come up as a whole, just like that one-on-one. And no, that was not another subliminal trick because we did have another Mary in the story. So, Calico Jack, what did you get?
Indecent.
Imagine that. Everybody wants to see what they base Johnny Depp off of. So, this is Calico Jack. A couple of things about Calico Jack. We actually did get the name John several times out of one person. So Calico Jack's real name was John Rackham. We did get the word jacket. So here's why that's actually relevant. Calico Jack was named that from his crew because of the jackets that he wore. They came from British captains that he killed. So his father was a tailor, which means textiles were very important to him. Calico Jack basically translates to fancy jacket. We did get the word jacket on the word list. Lucky for Oliver, he also has the second part of this. So the name of Calico Jack's ship was called the Kingston. I don't expect Kingston to come through any of your spirit boxes except for Lois's. The reason why, she's getting more disembodied voices than everybody else. The rest of you, I would expect the word king, which we actually got on the word list, relatively close to the word jacket. So I'm actually really excited. This is me excited, by the way. What do you got?
And you get that award, hanging Zoe.
Well, hot damn. So hanging is definitely a piratey term. So
Ill said and yield also then friend and preserve.
I'm also excited. How is Zoe spelled, by the way?
Z-O-E-Y.
It's got the Y at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a story of a Zoe Saint Amand at Coogan's Porch. She's the one who haunts that restaurant that's on Queen Street. So the weird thing about Zoe is that we will get clues from her relevant in the French Quarter area because it's relatively close. We're actually going to be really close to it when we go to our next stop. Again, I'll be looking for other things, but she spelled it with a Z-O-E, no Y. So, and we will get that correct spelling on your word list from time to time. Now, our next location, we're doing something a little bit different than spreading about. We're going to Washington Park. So where are my spirit box people? So I'm trying to think of who I actually give spirit boxes to. So we're going to be doing the Estes method at the next location. Is anybody familiar with what this is? Well, okay, perfect. So this is going to make it even more fun. So what we're going to do is we're going to take two people that have spirit boxes with earbuds in them, and we're going to blindfold them. And we're going to put noise-canceling headphones over top of their ears. And they're not going to know the history of the location because I'm going to tell everybody else but them. And then we're going to go back and we're going to blindfold them in noise-cancel headphones. And we're going to talk to the person or persons as if they're the ghost that we're trying to investigate and hopefully get answers. So it's a complete blind. And with two people, it's even more fun because sometimes when that happens, it's normally two people talking to each other. Like we get a conversation out of them even though I'm going to be the one asking questions. So it's a very interesting experiment, but it can either go really well or really bad. So again, it's just the way it goes in that location, depending on how many other tours in there. We're going to go in there looking for a very shy, introverted writer. That's all I'm going to tell you, the whole group as a whole, until I get you guys over into that space. So a lot of people have been coming to this tour lately because they want to try that Estes method. So again, this is something new. We've been doing this for about 5 or 6 weeks now. Sometimes it works out really great, sometimes it doesn't. It's very creepy to watch them. So, are you guys ready to go learn about a creepy author? Yeah. And Melina's like, yeah, I know you're going to voluntold me, so I'm the one with the earbuds. So, all right.
Probably not on the bed, no. Gotta be
Holly or Cameron? Which one of you wants to jump in?
Holly does. Holly does.
Jump in on this? All right.
Sure, it's fine.
Have a seat. So, yeah, I'm going to cover this once we get you out of this. All right, so this is going to be a sensory deprivation, so I'm going to basically give them their blindfold so they can get them open, and they are disposables. I don't want your eye boogers back, so you get to keep them. So again, you guys get it, I don't like people's germs. You guys are picking up on that, right? So earwax and eye boogers. So each of you guys, when you guys open these up, you're going to notice that they open up with the two eye covers, and then in the center, because it's 2-ply, you pull up in the center and tear it, so it'll be a loop over your ears. It doesn't go all the way around your head. I'm also going to leave the noise-canceling headphones with you guys, so you can get used to them. You don't need to put this stuff on until we come minutes. You guys can just chit chat until we get back. But I don't want you guys knowing the history of the space or what we're actually looking for. So there's noise canceling headphones for you and noise set for you. So in a nutshell, are you guys understanding why we're doing it this way? So this way they have no idea what the hell's going on and who we're looking for. They're not going to know any names. They're not going to know anything. And I'll be honest, this is the new space for me this year, so I don't know everything about this space. That's why we're only going to be over there for a few minutes. When we come back, we're going to huddle around them pretty close, because it doesn't always look good when I'm blindfolding my guests in the middle of a park in the middle of the night. So we're going to huddle pretty close, and we will get it on film, but a lot of tours like to come through here, and of course people like to come here just to relax. So we're just going to stay out of their way. We will probably put you on mute, Miss Lois, once we're doing this experiment. Yeah.
I just got prayer.
Well, we're next to St. Michael's. Whenever we're near these major churches, we get a lot of religious terms. Somebody else heard the term Christianity when we were over by St. Philip's. With the readings on Eurosherry. So after we're done here, I'm going to send you on a little, basically a walk through all the graphs. We have gotten triple-digit readings in here.
Wow.
And the highest we've ever had has been 167.
Okay.
So again, we get them from time to time. We did have a 130 just a few nights ago, so I'm gonna say it was Friday.
Okay.
So again, it's different every single time we find it, and sometimes we don't find it at all.
Okay.
So just weird. All right, let's go learn some real, history about this place, and we're not gonna talk about the same things that every other ghost tour talks about in here, because they all talk about Captain Beauregard back there. We're gonna go talk about a writer, because I'm a writer, and it makes more sense to me. All right, you guys converse. We'll be back in 5.
Yeah.
Triple digits. You gotta beat it.
I know.
Come on, let's go.
I'm gonna. You can't wish it. It's just that.
Alright, it's 3. So, first time I came here, I had no idea what we were going to find, guys. Look around, there's a million monuments, right? So, the first thing, and I had a group of 2. Here's what happened. The young lady using the spirit box heard the exact year of 1828. I'm like, okay, I wrote it down. Somebody else heard the name Henry, and I had the word Tim, and I was using all of those. So, behind me sits Henry Timrod, born in 1828. So again, Henry, Tim, 1828, all showed up. So I said, boom, there's my ghost. Here's his quick story. He was obviously born in 1828, and he wanted to go fight in the war, Civil War, for the Confederates. He's old enough, so we're talking like 1860, 1861, roughly. So this guy was sick for most of his life. So when he goes out to the battlefield, his comrades tell him, go home, dude. You're too sick to fight, but we want you to be the voice of the war. We tell people what's going on out here. So he came home, started writing poetry about what was going on in the battlefield. Pretty good stuff, actually. A few years later, he has a son. They're not going to know the name of the son, but you're going to know the details about him. I'm not going to tell them anything. The son's name was Willie. He was born on Christmas Eve, and he died 9 months later, October 25th. So very sad and very tragic. However, Henry is still mourning. A few years go by. His college buddy calls him up and says, come out to my cottage. You can actually finish what you're supposed to be writing for your newspaper, because he hasn't been writing much, and get some peace and quiet, and leave Katie, your wife, behind to mourn with her parents. So he went out to Columbia, and that's where he wrote his last words. His last words were, beholder of brief mortality, meaning person of short life. And then he coughs, and it lands on the page in a blood stain. He had tuberculosis. The blood stain looks like a man writing over his desk, and that's where he died. So, we call this the Blood Book. They show 1 day a year on Halloween at the Charleston Library Society. However, if we remember that society to be able to go see the book live, but the internet is beautiful. I'm going to show you the page, and then we're going to go talk to Henry, and hopefully he's going to give us some damn answers. So, let me show you what the Blood Book looks like. And it's just as interesting to me to tell the story with the beholder of brief mortality, where you can see the actual words on the page.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Too many frauds.
So it is still there. They still show it 1 day a year on Halloween. Kind of a creepy thought. Good way to end the night, right?
Yeah.
So there's your blood book. So
Too many dots, right?
what do you got going on?
Too many dots.
It's picking up
It's
a
a
shadow.
tree. Okay.
Yeah, of course, if you're recording it, I'll freeze it and I'll get a screen out of it and see if I can brighten it up to make sure it's not the tree. We have gotten full figures here before.
Okay.
So part of the reason why I actually
Cool.
have the camera that Emma's using is because somebody brought the big chunky one on my tour one night, and we actually had an 8-minute interaction with Henry right inside this gate next to his bust. When I say 8-minute interaction, Henry, if it's okay for me to read some of your poetry, raise your right hand. Went right up and came down. Like, no shit. So, 8-minute interaction ended with the only female in my tour going to the side of this gate and outstretching her hand, asking Henry to shake it. And he disappeared, and we never got him back. You have to remember the times that he came from. It's the mid-1800s, where it's probably disrespectful for a woman to outstretch her hand and ask for it to be shaken. So again, you have to know your ghost. So again, he's a very shy, introverted man, and he's very short and has a very distinctive mustache. Those of you old enough to remember Raleigh Fingers, think of his mustache. That's basically what Henry Timber had. So very distinct. So, you guys ready to go blindfold these folks and see what the hell happens? You're like, yeah, let's do this.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Come on, guys. I want to find me a ghost. Oh, those are real people.
You see something?
This thing's
I
on
want
the
to
way
find me a ghost.
We will. We will.
By the way, remember, I kind of already told Oliver the story, but remember I told you guys at the beginning that I had a story for Oliver at the Powder Magazine? I forgot to tell you guys. So in a nutshell, somebody heard the name Oliver one night when we were at the Powder Magazine. And sometimes when a name pops up that's very distinctive like that, I write it down and see if there's something else that pops up around it, because normally if we get a prediction, it'll be the person's name and where you guys are from. So yeah, it happens all the time. The interesting thing about Oliver is it was heard at the Powder Magazine. His last name is Reed. So is Mary's. Mary Reed. So, not to mention, the next day is when Oliver booked his tour for tonight.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
The last name's Reed. They're
Yeah.
spelled differently.
It's spelled differently. So,
Wait, your
but
last
again,
name is
the phonetic
Reed?
sound is the same.
That's crazy.
Isn't it not? But isn't this why you guys came to see me? You wanted some crazy shit to happen?
So you get a LOIS contract in.
What's ahead? So, a couple of tips for you guys. When you guys go through this, you're not going to be touching your spirit box. I want to make sure you guys aren't messing with the volume so you can hear us. And again, when we put you under, and I call it that, I'm only going to keep you under for 10 minutes. Reason why? This could be very disorienting. So don't get up when you come out. So when we tap you on the knee, so one of your family members will tap you on the knee. I'm not going to touch, female strangers. No offense. Happily married man. Want to keep it that way. But anyway, somebody will tap you on the knee. That means you're going to take off your noise canceling headphones. You're going to do all the work. We're not going to do it for you. Also, you don't need to shout. Some people get under, and because you can't hear yourself, you want to be loud. So we're all going to be very quiet.
Loud.
Yeah, just whisper or think like you're talking normal. Repeat everything that you hear. You don't know what you're listening for. We're also maybe asking yes/no questions. It's okay to tell me yes/nos in this kind of instance because you don't know what the hell we're asking, if that makes sense. So again, I'm looking for a direct answer from the person we're going to be looking for, which you don't even know the name of. So, do you have a question?
I do. I'm trying to process the question. So I'm not going to be able to hear you. How will I know you're asking me a question?
You're both going to be acting as if the ghost that we are
Oh,
looking
my eyes
for.
are closed too, so I won't even see you.
Correct. You won't be able to read lips.
Yeah, right.
That's the whole point of this.
Yeah.
We want to soften.
So I just.
So you're
when
just
I
saying what you
something-
hear?
Oh,
You're literally just going to repeat everything you hear.
okay. So if it
Gotcha.
is a yes or no.
Yeah.
Eric, interesting kid popped up.
Mm. Oh, you're taking the words out. Don't hit the red X's.
Oh.
All right. So, how this is going to work? Can I have a family member come and take their spirit boxes and just hold them so you can control the volume? You guys are gonna give them. Well, that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna control the volume for you.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so this is blindfold first.
I mean,
She's gonna control it for you. You're gonna give us the thumbs up or thumbs down.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
How do I have to do
No,
the volume?
blindfold
Volume?
first.
This one?
There you go. Oh, you can do it that way. Then your noise canceling headphones?
Is it the rolling thing on this one?
What goes first?
No, the blind actually goes first. She went opposite.
The rolling thing. Yes.
Yeah, I can take it.
That goes over here.
Yeah, they're tight and new.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might have AirPods on me like she did.
AirPods. Those are 25-cent earbuds. She's calling them AirPods.
I can still hear you.
Crank that thing up. Which direction? Go towards that way. She's got it. She's got it. All right. Go ahead and set that spirit box down next to her. You don't have to stand so close now. Those of you with video cameras, obviously I want you guys getting footage. The two cameras that know that they're not supposed to be facing each other, don't face each other.
Can you turn up a little bit?
Yep.
That's good.
She good?
She's going to shout, by the way, 100%.
Holler.
Yep. She said Holly.
No.
Wow, you're in there quick.
1840.
Plaza.
Slow.
Okay, Henry.
It's on the
None
table.
are there.
Henry, you need to slow down. I want you to give us something very specific. We're going to get right into it. I want you to tell me the name of your son, please.
We may not be able to see.
We want to know the name of your son, please.
Nothing.
Your son, what was his name?
Smile.
Talk. My time.
Notice how they're going back and forth, guys? This is normally how it works. Henry,
It's not.
Henry, tell us something about your son.
Sexual.
Give us his name.
I
Give us,
need a little thunder.
give us his. You don't need to hold that. You can set it down.
Found an expert.
Fall.
9 to 5.
I will.
Mom or dad.
See how they're.
Legitimate.
Henry, slow down a little.
Year.
What year? What year? Something specific about your son, please.
Jesus.
Kids.
Okay, we're on the right track. Give us something specific about what your son's name was.
Abortion.
It was not an abortion.
One night. Wild.
Did your wife have an abortion? one night?
Bonus.
Give me a yes/no answer, please. Did your wife, Katie, have an abortion?
Relieved. Lace.
Wild.
6.
Someone. Driver.
Tell me.
Henry, thank you for slowing down.
Twice.
I want you to tell me what your wife's name was.
Thumbs up. Dress. Deeper.
Charles Virgin said it this way. Since.
Your wife's
Lee?
name. We're asking you a lot of questions here.
Did
Mr.
you
Tim.
tell him
Ugly?
the country was proud?
Oh, yes,
How?
I did actually.
And they need to grow.
Gift.
They help us.
What war did you fight in, Henry?
Review.
What war was it?
And then they were shooting.
What war was this, Henry? Tell us about the war.
Hopeful. Warranty. Pray for people. Reliability.
Henry, give us the war you were in. Even the year that you went to the battlefield.
Rheumatoid arthritis. Feel.
With a kid on the way.
Loss.
Breakthrough and improve. Plus you'll get
Henry Timrod. Let's make it simple. Tell us what you did for a living.
50% on term life insurance.
Stood over.
What did you do for a living, Henry?
My whole body.
The owner of CNT.
Spring fashion.
We got a lot of diseases
Other.
coming out here, Henry. Why don't you pick the one that you actually died from, please? What did you die from?
And nose.
Coat.
Here's the Ouija board. Olivia, look for the initials TB if it comes up.
TB.
Yeah, for tuberculosis. What did you die from, Henry?
Experiment.
Got about 5 minutes in, just so everybody knows where we're at.
I'm gonna be there with
Kind
them.
of.
asking a lot of questions tonight.
Are
10th.
Henry Timrod, how did you die?
crisis.
Angry.
Yeah, I'm sure you were angry.
Early. Secure.
It was early. How old were you when you died? I was 38, by the way. So does anybody know? How old were you when you died?
Sorry. General growth.
And we're about halfway through this. I want you to pick one of those questions. They're very specific. Things about your child, your son, your wife, the war you fought in, and your death. We asked you a lot of questions.
Listen, I can't be.
Can't be listening. Henry, we need some
What
answers.
have you found?
I found a lot. You
IKEA.
give us a lot of terms doing this. Come on, Henry.
If you want to be my lover.
Soldier.
Soldier's good. What war were you a soldier in? Can you give us a year?
All the one and all of the new. Some of those specials.
Ended. 2 sides.
At the VA.
Position.
Two sides, position. We're talking about the Civil War.
Plus.
What else do we have here, Henry? Give us something specific, please.
Role.
This is all very vague.
Summer.
What war did you fight in?
Doctor.
Beautiful.
Henry, we got about 2 minutes left. Make it count. You haven't given us anything specific enough yet.
Who's there?
I'm right here, Henry.
Number 1 from New Country.
She.
Home, your life.
Why don't you tell us who lost the war?
University.
Who lost the Civil War that you fought in?
Come back.
Yes.
Who lost the war? Which side?
You are my only. I think I fixed it.
Stalking.
Henry,
You don't see.
we're about to call this, Henry. Give us something specific before we close it out.
7.
Lose.
Vitamins.
Who lost the war, Henry?
Real life.
Was it the North or
Stop.
was it the South?
Believe.
Night.
Was it the South that lost the war?
I've been.
All right, family members, let's tap them up. Any readings from the EMF detectors?
No.
Nothing? Sherry, anything on your end?
Minor. Point things.
Okay.
I'm alive.
So I'm going to call this unsuccessful.
I said a lot.
You did. It was, but when I say unsuccessful, it's not that they weren't hearing things. I mean, I think we had some very vague things. I started asking about the war. We had the word soldier. We had 2 sides. No specific answers to my direct questions, though. I've had direct answers of, hey, Henry, how did you die? And somebody said tuberculosis. That's what I'm looking for, guys. So that's the thing. You said rheumatoid arthritis and chuckled,
Yeah.
but
Oh yeah.
but again, it's the silliest things that you may hear that you're not sure of. So what I'm going to have you guys do is I'm going to have you guys just take a quick lap while I give the 2 ladies the actual history so they know what they were working with. And then we're going to wrap this party up. So just basically do a lap. So Sherry, you're probably the most important right now because, again, you're the one that's going to be having the hot spots. If you get a hot spot, you don't need to stay there. Just get a few readings for me. We can bring them back because that is going to give you guys points for your score tomorrow. I want to see what we get out of it. Again, it could happen. It could not. All right, everybody scatter, and then we're going to wrap this up. All right, ladies.
Cammy Sue.
My foot's asleep.
Let's look at this little statue over here. This thing's making the statue's head a person. I don't think that's right.
Why is Sherry all the way over there?
No one
Yeah,
knows.
that ain't right.
No. Let's keep walking.
Let's go see what Joyce is doing.
Is that Cammy Sue or do I have a human?
I'm all stuck.
Look, Cammy Sue.
What? Raise your right hand.
Raise your hand.
I don't know which one's which. That one's cold.
It might be a tree.
I think so. That one's mine because it's not cold.
I don't think that's a human.
Probably the tree.
Yeah. You really burst my bubble with that tree fact.
I don't see Joyce again. Oh, I found Joyce.
There.
I'm not even tired.
I'm just cold.
Huh?
But if I'm just cold, but if I'm not tired, that means I can have a snack when I get home. What time is it?
You think they got their cameras out?
Let's see.
Oh no, they don't.
Phew.
Okay,
Come on.
I'm cold.
Those kind of mentality. So, and when I say it's disembodied, it went over 13 radio stations. So again, when I get those kind of voices, I kind of give it a break, and I have other locations I can go to.
Yeah.
But Dr. Ladd, he just wants recognition for him being a writer and a doctor, because he was a poet too.
Because we just got the feeling like maybe they were just playing with us, like
Yeah.
irritated,
Mhm.
you know?
He is.
Yeah.
So again, with Henry, he was actually said to be also at the Charleston Library Society, because that's where his collection is. That's where it's being from. So again, me finding him here, every other tour that comes through here talks about somebody else. So I'm the only one focused on this guy. So I was hoping at first we were going to get a lot of interaction, which we did when I first started this location in November. So I mean, you're absolutely correct. There are some times where I take a space and I'll stop going there for a week or two and add another one and kind of twist things up a little bit. Because I have other spaces we can go, but I have to kind of like almost map it out, make sure the timing is right. So So any other readings out of Sherry? You got anything?
Just 12.9.
12
was the
nine.
highest.
Okay, we still got something.
I
So,
got 10 and gun.
oh, so here's the weird thing. We were getting some terms in this location relative to the doctor, because we did hear the word doctor. The number 7 was heard, I believe, by somebody.
Holly
And
said
the word-
7 also.
I think they said it like twice.
Yeah, Holly said 7.
So remember we talked about 59 Church Street where the doctor lived?
Mhm.
It's 2 blocks right there. Like it's 0.3 miles away from this location. Sometimes we get things specific to the house because we know it as the Thomas Rose house. Sometimes we get the word Rose and it's a bright yellow house. Sometimes we get the word yellow, that kind of thing. But we do have gun, the double 7s, doctor. Like we still have things relevant. Like it's vague and it's kind of a stretch, but there's too much of it to say like, hey, that's coincidental. So again, it is to me very interesting that we got those double 7s. Again, very odd. This was a kind of a weird night because there was a lot of like predictive of where we were going, or kind of close by something else. So we didn't always have the direct answers that we were looking for. So I'll be honest, like this is probably about an average night for me based on some of the readings that we got, some of the words you guys were hearing. This is probably the most I've ever gotten out of an Estes method as far as how many things that they were hearing. However, most of it was either irrelevant or too hard to assemble together because they were both hearing so much. So again, this is me learning about the Estes method. Like, don't pick the 2 best people at this. Pick somebody that was, a little bit more quiet with theirs. Like, say Cameron. So I could have put her under and Melina, and we probably would have had a better answer, call and answer kind of thing. But notice there was a couple of things, like you would say things like 4 or 5 things in a row, and then stop, and then she would start 4 or 5 things and stop, and it went back and forth. So it does happen that way. I haven't done a whole lot of these double blinds like this, but again, this is probably where I got the most out of it. As far as
Did the
most terms.
rheumatoid arthritis mean anything?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm
'Cause
gonna look into that.
That was pretty
That was so
specific.
clear.
Yeah.
That's why I laughed. I was like, well, that's nothing.
I said to him too
Yeah.
that I said the word abortion, which I was like,
Well, we were asking
Yeah.
about the kids.
they
Yeah.
wouldn't
And you did say
necessarily know.
kid as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and then the word sexual. I was like, I hope you didn't ask me something really weird. Oh, you did.
No,
Tell me about
I
this.
didn't.
Like, tell me about your son, sexual.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
How long do you 2 think you were under?
I mean, to me, it felt like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It was probably 10 to 11 minutes total. And we have it all on footage for you so that way you can actually see what was going on, what I was asking. So you're going to get all of that footage back. So let's talk about your data tomorrow morning. Tomorrow I'm usually done between 12 and 1 unless I have to research something crazy like rheumatoid arthritis. So again, you want me to take longer on this. So if I'm going past 1 o'clock, I'm still researching. It's not that I slept in, just so you guys know. But at the same time, you guys are all on vacation anyway. You're going to be doing Charleston things. Oliver and Sandy, actually, their room was really close, and Sandy was uber tired, so they already left if you were wondering where they were at. They're okay. Their room is like 1 block away. But your data tomorrow, everybody asks me about my own investigations. That's at the top, because everybody asks me in a podcast format. There's also a blog for every location I've been to, so you can see the evidence for yourself. I separate all of the data by month. Your data stays on my website for an entire year. So if you want to go back and look at another date that's relevant to you, if I was touring that night, it's up there. So again, it's very interesting to see the patterns. And I'm boring Cameron to death. That's like the 4th yawn out of her. But
She
your
didn't get her nap today.
I also created a field guide. So if you didn't have a thermal imaging camera or a spirit box, you're going to get all of the media back, but what do you do with it? That's what the field guide is for. It actually shows you with examples of what to listen for, what to watch for, of paranormal examples from all the different cameras except for the SLS. We've also gotten SLS stuff by that tree, by the way, just so you know, with a man sitting there looking like he's reading a book, like sitting on the ground, knees up and arms up like this, and his leg was kind of twitching around like this way, like he was just a little uncomfortable because we were watching him. So again, we have had figures in this location. But anyway, back to your data. It is going to be anywhere between 6 to 9 pages long, average. That's usually what it comes up with. There's a lot to go through. But again, it stays up there for an entire year, but it's all downloadable. Your videos go to YouTube. That's an easy one. Just save the links. Your audio pieces will be MP3s. Right-click, download. All of my notes with the links in them, if you copy-paste them into a Word document, it brings the links with it. Today's what, the 10th, 11th? I lost track. Your data is going to get buried in the next couple of days because the newest tour always goes on top. Try to get to it, I'd say, within the next week, so that way you're not scrolling forever through April trying to find where your data is. Because again, every investigation I do is about 6 to 9 pages long, regardless of how many people were in it. Just because because I type a lot. Again, writer guy, 90 words a minute, no mistakes. So, yeah, I'm that guy. But anyway, what questions, comments, concerns do we have? Give me your advice. I'm going to start collecting. What do you guys have? There's no way I was that thorough. Come on, it's still interactive.